Hello everyone, welcome to a new kind of video that I'm doing. We are going to be ranking Minecraft capes today. I wanted to find kind of a niche topic to think about, or to rank, I guess. And Minecraft capes came up as an idea in my head. So we're going to go over them and rank them real quick. As you can see, I have all of the capes here. And for some reason, these two are doubled, but we're not going to really worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and get started, and if you guys disagree with me, which, let's be honest, y'all probably will at some point, let me know down in the comments, so that way I can prove that you are wrong and I am right. So starting off with the first cape, we have this one right here. It is the original Mojang cape given to employees of Mojang. It's classic version. You can see it. There's a little bit of an updated one, but we'll get to that in a second. Personally, I'm going to put it in the B tier. I think it is a nice, solid cape, but there's nothing super special about it other than the fact that, you know, it was worn by only employees of Mojang. Second up is the modern version of that cape. As you can see, it's got the red and white branding. This one I'm actually going to put in A tier. I like it a lot more than the original. You know, to each their own. It's opinion based, so we all know how opinions are on the internet. Moving on to the next one, we have the Mojang Studios cape. So this is when Mojang transitioned from just being called Mojang to Mojang Studios. Personally, I kind of dislike this cape a lot. Now that might come out like it seems like it's out of left field, out of nowhere, but it's just like, if you don't know the specific reason for someone having this cape right here, you're gonna have absolutely no idea what it means, and the symbol itself, even when you do know, is quite confusing. So I'm personally just not a fan of it. I think it looks really bad. They probably could have just done an updated version of this one, and it would have gone a lot better. Next up, we have the Minecon capes. The first one is 2011, and come on. The first Minecon cape, it's iconic. Plus, it's the creeper logo, which is basically the signature symbol for Minecraft. You can't get any better than that. Next is the 2012 one, and I'm going to put it in A tier because I like the design. It's just not as memorable as the creeper. People will still recognize this as a Minecon cape. It's because I believe 2012 was more popular than 2011, although don't quote me on that. I just believe that the creeper logo and symbol is much more iconic to Minecraft than simply just a pickaxe. Pickaxes are used in all sorts of games. If you've got an IQ of higher than 23, you'll probably know that Minecon 2013 is next. Woohoo! I'm going to put this in the A tier as well. I think it's actually a better designed cape than the 2012 one, but also a piston is very less iconic than a Minecraft pickaxe, as well as I believe there weren't as many of these capes given out, although again, don't quote me on that. I think I've just seen it less than the other two. Next up is not the 2014 one, but actually 2015. I don't remember why there was no Minecon in 2014. I'd have to look that up. But this is the 2015 Minecon cape. I'm personally going to put it in C tier. I just don't really like it very much. An iron golem is kind of an odd choice for a cape. It does use up a lot of the room on the cape, but I'm just not a fan of the design of it. After that is going to be the 2016 cape, which I actually do like a little bit better. I will say once again that is simply not as iconic as any of these three, but I do actually like the Enderman design a lot more. It feels like it's fully integrated into the cape, uses up more of the space, so it's overall a lot more visually appealing for me than the Iron Golem one. Alright, so moving on, we you can see we still have a ton of capes here that all have their own unique designs. These are, for the most part, personal capes that were designed specifically for either one person or a small group of people for specific reasons, which I'll go over once we actually get to said cape. Starting with the first one is this bacon cape, which was given to the player who suggested the idea of pigments to notch. This one, S tier. I mean, come on, it's a bacon cape. Who would not like that? I don't believe many of these capes are still in circulation, but if they were, Oh man, imagine seeing someone with a freaking bacon cape. That's awesome. Next up is the cape for the millionth buyer of Minecraft. I'm gonna put it in C tier, mainly just because the bottom of the star just looks really poorly done. I think the yellow and purple does look good, the color scheme. It's just, I can't get over the bottom of the star looking like that. It throws off the entire cape for me. Not that it's necessarily bad, but it just had so much more potential with it, especially for the 1 millionth buyer of Minecraft. Next up is a cape made specifically for a music creator that Notch liked called Danny B Style. And no shade towards Danny B Style, but this is going to be an F tier. I don't know exactly who made this cape, but just putting the D and B on there is very, very, I don't want to say lazy, it's just very simple. And compared to the other capes on here, it looks really, really bad. This next cape was presented to an individual named Julian Clark for a story that I don't necessarily understand, but we don't really need to know the backstory to, rate the cape. Personally, I'm going to put this in B tier. I think it is a very, not mid, but middle of the way cape. It's like your baseline cape that looks nice, but it's nothing special. There's nothing specifically wrong with it either. Next up is this cape here, given to an individual named Mr. Messiah, for basically coding a better light mod for Minecraft back in the early days. And Notch/Jeb decided to reward him with a cape for it. Personally, I'm going to put it in B tier as well. I feel very similar to it with the snowman in the sense that it's a very run-of-the-mill cape. It's got a good design, but nothing really sticks out to me on it, and it could be a lot worse, but it could also be a lot better. So right in B tier it goes. Next up is this Prismarine cape here. Given to an individual for doing some texture thing with Prismarine. I'm not entirely certain. The wiki wasn't very clear, but I'm going to put it in C tier. It's just a very basic cape. The Prismarine, it looks nice, but I feel like a lot of the space was wasted potential, as well as just the texture being Prismarine is very, very basic, Next up is this cape right here, and I'm actually going to give it an S tier. The story behind this one is that it was a employee of Mojang. It was their birthday and they were given a cape for their birthday. Honestly, a pretty awesome present considering I believe they still have it to this day. And overall it was just a greatly designed cape. So it gets the S tier. Next up is this Valentine's looking cape here. I'm actually going to put it in A tier because I think the design of it is really nice and uses up pretty much the entire cape. They fit a lot into there. The story behind this one is that it was given to a user named LolFoxy2 by Mojang employee because they had some issues with migrating their account. But unfortunately, their cape was actually removed, not for any specific action that they took, but the Mojang employee realized that it wouldn't be fair to only give, one cape to a random person's account that was having issues with migrating. Alright, we're actually on to the next section of capes, in the sense that the rest of these capes were given to either small groups of individuals or were a limited time thing that could be obtained. The first one is the Translator cape, which I'm going to put in A tier. Basically, this one is for anyone that helped translating Minecraft and Mojang's text in their games to other languages. So anyone who would help out with that process would receive one of these capes. Overall, it's just a nicely designed cape. I don't know why. I think just the aesthetic, it makes me feel very homey. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy this cape. Next up is this cape here, which I'm going to put in B tier because I think it has a nice design, but without actually knowing what it is, you'd have no idea what it's for. Similar to this, except I think this one actually has a good design on it, and it is for the game Scrolls if you were to basically rank in the top rankings for their weekly challenges. And so only a very small amount of people got this cape. But I believe they still have it to this day, so, props to them for getting this very exclusive cape. Next up is the Cobalt cape, which I'm going to put in C tier simply because it's just got a very simple and basic design. It was done well in execution, but there's just not a lot to it. The story behind this one is that this cape was given to people who won Cobalt level making competition, which Cobalt was a game also made by Mojang, although the current status of it I'm unaware of as to whether it's still up and running. Next up is this fire looking one here, which it's got a fire design. I'm going to put this in B tier. The flame, similar to these designs down here, is very simple, but I really like the gilded yellow/gold border around. I think that adds a lot to it. The story behind this cape is that it was given to moderators on the bug tracker, I believe forums or post page, whatever it is. Basically just people who helped out Mojang on the bug trackers, you know, being able to see whether a bug was fixed or not. Next up is this cool looking cape here, which is also going to be going in, actually, yeah, I'm going to put in an A tier actually, just because it literally has like a mini Minecraft inside the cape, and I think that's so cool. This one was for Realm Content Creator Program. Anyone who met a certain list of criteria would receive this cape, and I think it was about it was a significant time ago, back when the program first started. This next one is a turtle cape, which I'm going to put in B tier. The story with this one is quite simple. Someone suggested adding turtles into the game. They added turtles into the game, and the person that suggested it, which the name was Billy K, ended up getting a cape for it. So, you know, I've got plenty of suggestions to make for Minecraft, you know, Mojang, if you're listening, I could definitely help you out in that department. Next up, we have the oh so famous now, probably the most common cape in the entirety of Minecraft, the Migrator cape. I'm going to put it in S tier, simply because, one, I think it's actually a good design cape, a well-designed cape, but two, it's everywhere now, so it's the most commonplace cape, since probably the Minecon capes you'll see pretty much everywhere. Alright, so that leaves us with our final three capes. This first one here was a temporary cape in Christmas 2010. Players would be shown having, or wearing this cape, if you will. I'm going to put it right here in C tier. I think it's a nice design, but overall very simple. Plus it was a temporary cape, so there was no specific criteria to get it, and it was also removed, so there's no way to see it or get it now at this point. Same thing with the previous cape. This cape was for New Year's in 2011. It was just it was a temporary cape. If you were playing the game during that time, you would see it, but it is no longer accessible. Finally, last but not least, we have this cape here, which I am going to put in the B tier. The Minecraft block, I think, looks really good. It's just that all of this down here, I'm not really quite sure what they were going for with it. I'm not really a big fan of that, but I do like the Minecraft block. If you don't know the story of this one, you've probably seen this cape around at some point. It is for anyone that purchased Minecraft Java and Minecraft Bedrock before a certain date. It was sometime in 2012, I don't remember the exact date. But if you had both of those versions purchased on your Microsoft account, you would receive this cape, and after that aforementioned date, which again I don't remember the exact one, it'll no longer be accessible for you to grab. Alright, so that will just about do it for this Minecraft tier list of Java capes. If you happen to enjoy the video, which if you're still watching at this point, I'm sure you did, leaving a like and subscribing to the channel means the absolute world to me. I'm trying to make this my future job, and if everyone were to put a tiny bit of effort in, my dream since I was a small child could possibly come true, and that excites the world out of me. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video.